Are you struggling with testing your code using the Testify library? It can be really frustrating when things don't work as expected. Today, we're going to tackle the issue of AssertCalled always failing and show you how to properly check if a function was called. I totally get it. You write your code, run your tests, and then you see that dreaded error message. It's one of the most common issues developers face when using mocking libraries. You're definitely not alone in this. Let's dive into the specific question at hand. One user asked, "Why does AssertCalled always fail when I try to check if my function was called?" They provided a code snippet where they defined a struct and called a method, but the assertion returned false. Sound familiar? Let's explore this together. So, what could be going wrong here? The issue often lies in how the mock is set up and how the method is being called. In this case, the method bar is being called on an instance of foo, but the mock isn't properly tracking that call. And stick around. At the end of this video, I'll share a pro tip that will help you avoid these kinds of issues in the future. To resolve the issue, the user needs to ensure that the mock object is properly initialized. This is crucial for the AssertCalled method to work correctly. Next, the user should call the method on the mock object instead of the struct directly. This ensures that the call is tracked by the Testify library. After that, the user needs to set up expectations for the mock. This tells Testify what to expect when the bar method is called. Finally, the user can assert that the method was called as expected. This is done using the AssertCalled method after the method invocation. Fun fact, the Testify library is named after the famous phrase testify, which means to declare or affirm. Just like in court, you want your code to stand up and be counted. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. One user suggests that to properly use the Testify library, you need to explicitly call the called method within your mocked function. This informs the mock object that the method has been invoked. They also recommend checking the Testify documentation for more details and examples on how to implement this correctly. That wraps up that answer. Let's move on to another one. An alternative solution provided by another user emphasizes the importance of using a pointer receiver instead of a value receiver. They explain that using a value receiver will result in nil calls, while a pointer receiver will correctly register the calls made to the method. That's all on that answer. Let's take a look at another one. An alternative solution provided by another user involves using a pointer for the mock field. They suggest defining the mock as a pointer in the foo struct. This allows the bar method to call the mock correctly. Here's the pro tip I promised. Always set expectations on your mocks before calling the methods you want to test. This simple habit can save you a lot of headaches down the line. And there you have it. With these adjustments, your tests should now work as expected. Remember, proper setup is key to successful testing. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button for more tips, and don't miss our next video where we dive deeper into testing best practices.